Hello and welcome to the Wonky Gamer podcast, episode 16, Skyrim Dishonoured. I'm Steph, and here is Mr. Rammy.
Hello.
Mr. Ferg.
They did it, not me.
And Mr. Dead.
Hello.
So we're changing up the way we're doing this a little bit today. We're going to aim for a slightly shorter episode, tighten things up a bit, so hopefully you'll enjoy. It'd be great to have any... You what?
I've got tighter pants on.
But yeah, you know, if you want to, you know, let us know what you think. Do it. It'd be good. So we're gonna sort of rush through the gaming news a bit today, and we're gonna focus on a couple of topics in a bit more detail. So today we're just gonna talk about the gaming news to start off with. So I mean, there's a couple of things that have come out this week. I think the biggest one to that sort of hit the news is because of the Blizzard Con. And basically they've been talking about Diablo 3. It's BlizzCon, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, they have their own.
Yeah, they've
you
got
know
their
that?
own
They have their own conference.
Good for them.
They don't ever release news, I don't think, at E3 or places, do they? It's
No,
kind of
it's usually...
totally
No, they
separate.
do it at BlizzCon. They got their own event.
Yeah.
Why bother with someone else's?
It's usually quite good.
We're that big and important.
They get some really good bands to close it as well. They've had the Foo Fighters and Tenacious D, and some others that I can't remember off the top of my head.
Ooh, la-di-da.
They're living the rockstar dream.
It's actually quite good because you can buy a digital ticket for 25 quid to see a band that you might like, effectively live from
And
America.
put up with the rest of the Blizzard stuff.
Yes, but if you're a Blizzard
and
fan,
watch the back of people's heads as they look at games that you'd be better off just playing at home.
effectively yes.
as
But
opposed
if
to
you're a
spending the
Blizzard
money,
fan,
yeah.
they also give you a load of digital goods for the games that you own.
Well, I know you're a fan, Ed, so did you buy a ticket this year?
I didn't this year. It snuck up on me.
Have you been before?
I haven't been, no. I'd like to go, but
Have you
it's...
been digitally?
Yes. The year that Tenacious D was the closing act. Can't
Cool.
remember exactly what year that was. And also the Foo Fighters as well, which was the following year.
Okay.
Right, so, Blizzard news. Diablo 3, so, I mean, they did talk a bit about Overwatch as well. They got a new champion out and that kind of thing. I don't think any of us are that into Overwatch at the moment, although it is a big thing.
It's a fun game to play. I'll play it every now and then, but I'm not
It may well.
dedicated to it like one of my friends is. He's very, very dedicated to playing it.
How's that working out for him, being dedicated to playing Overwatch? Is it got a very competitive scene? Do you get rankings?
They've got
Yep.
a ranking leaderboard. There was one before it went official as well, but he got quite high up it. He was enjoying quite a spell at being the best player in that class.
Wow.
It has some similarities to, it's like a cross almost between Counter-Strike, World of Warcraft, and a MOBA.
Right.
I've played a bit of it, and I like certainly in terms of min-maxing and working out champions and things, it's very, very kind of. I can see how someone could dedicate time to it. Basically,
Yeah.
It may well become the next, the next big thing. I don't know. I'll have to watch this space, but it could. It has.
You
I
can
feel
see
it's got a lot of potential. Yeah, I'd say it's got a
Right.
lot of potential.
I mean, I
It's hitting a
played
lot of nails
the
on the head.
beta for the Overwatch, and I really enjoyed the time I played on the beta because though it was a focused multiplayer game, which normally I don't get on with just because my skills are just so poor, but it actually felt like you could get into it without.
It plays like Halo.
Yeah,
like,
you actually had a chance though. That was my point. Even if like you're maybe not the best player in the world, you can still hold your own.
Yep.
I think it's
Oh.
because people are healthy though. Like like in Counter Strike, you can die very quickly,
Yeah.
but it plays a lot more like Halo, where basically you seem to have more health, and the controls are just really fluid in that kind of Halo-y way.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to control.
But anyway, Diablo 3.
Yeah, back to the original point.
Yes, back to the original point.
So this is quite big news for people that play Diablo 2. I used to love Diablo 2 back in the day. I wasn't as keen on Diablo 3, but maybe I just got old. They're releasing a new class called the Necromancer, which was in Diablo 2 actually.
An old class.
Yeah. No, but it was my favourite in Diablo 2 because you used to be able
Alright.
to spawn like shit tons of skeletons, and you'd have like
And
20
golems.
skeletons following you around, and golems and all sorts of stuff.
Bone
It
walls.
was really cool.
Ah, awesome. Because I mean, I'm a big fan of Diablo 3. I really enjoy that. The one thing I wish that they won't do is that I wish they'd put the season play onto the Xbox One and PS4, but I'm sure they've turned around at some point and said, and never going to introduce season play to them.
Any reasons why?
I can't remember the reason they said. I think they just turned around and said, oh, because consoles are different to PCs.
Might be worth explaining what season play is as well to people that don't know. It's almost like a ranking thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's like a ranking. You start the season on level 1 with a brand new character you create just to play the season, empty inventory, and then you race to level 70 and then keep, well, farming the loot and getting better stuff and keep playing your way through till the end of the season to achieve as much as possible. So it's a way of making the game fresh again. As well as that, they include like generally a patch with, oh, we've changed these gear items, we've balanced this stuff, etc., etc. It is like a way of
It's kind of
freshening
like
up the game.
it's the same model they use for some of the survival sandbox games like 7 Days to Die and Rust, with resetting the server every once in a while.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, in their case, it's for early access purposes, but you can reset the server whenever you want. Just start from scratch, and it sets you, you can go about things in a very different manner.
yeah.
Sort of.
But if you do the season play on PC, it'll track all your achievements through the game and say, oh,
They
you've
do it
done
on
this much, found
Right, so
this
it's a
many,
it's fully
things.
tracked then.
Yeah,
yeah, they do it on a game called Path of Exile as well on PC, which is very popular with some people. It's very Diablo-esque kind of game.
ah, right.
But I wonder whether they just don't think for them it's beneficial because obviously with Overwatch it's the first time that they've personally, I think, taken an active interest in their one of their games being an esport. I don't think they personally supported StarCraft very much
No.
as an esport. I think it was the community that did it. I don't want to just come out with that. That's what I think it was.
I always got the impression that the community took the lead with StarCraft.
Yeah, and then it
Sort
just
of
kind
tournaments.
grew from
I
there.
think it became its own entity a lot faster than anything a corporation could come up with. I think that was because of the nature of the game and the way that the players are. They wanted that kind of chess tournament scenario going, and it works. It works very, very easily, and I could see that becoming its own thing and setting a few bars as well as far as tournaments are concerned. And they've sort of written some of the rules when it comes to the way that tournaments are even formatted now. So yeah,
But I
kudos
suppose
to
StarCraft
StarCraft.
as well was always more geared towards competitive play. With this Diablo, it might be a competition, but kind of slightly removed from it because
Yeah.
it's not particularly PvP focused.
No, it's not.
So I mean that's a cool thing with Diablo 3. I mean they've also talked about releasing Diablo 1 inside the game,
That's pretty
the original
cool.
Diablo 1.
Because I played all of the first Diablo and loved it.
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean it's a bit dated now, but it was.
At the time, that was awesome.
That's
played
purely
it when I
for
was
the
quite
retro
young.
gamers.
I don't know. I think if it's done up because they'll be doing it in their Diablo 3 engine, so it might introduce a lot of people to it that they didn't experience it the first time. Because I remember as a kid playing that game when it first came out, and I was fairly young. I probably shouldn't have been playing it because it was. I did find it quite shocking as a kid. It was quite brutal. I mean,
The enemies explode in a violent cascade of Blood and gold.
Yeah, ball of gore. Okay.
The music was dark and it was grim. Like it was really.
What had you been
atmospheric.
playing before that? Chucky Egg.
You were.
Who were you playing beforehand? Dizzy?
No, you
Like
No, that's
My Little
our era.
Pony? Spyro
Nah,
the Dragon?
back then, games like Diablo and Grand Theft Auto, the original Grand Theft Auto, were really graphic. Like, even though you look back at them now and think, nah. Like, for computer games, they were seriously
Yeah,
graphic.
the original GTA, you ran over a bunch of the monks, and
Harry
then it
Krishnas.
said Garanga on the screen in
Yeah.
big
Yeah,
letters.
Garanga,
Like, well
yeah.
done.
Garanga. Yes.
But back then, like, that was pretty gruesome for a game. I mean, you had the likes of Carmageddon as well, didn't you, and things. Yeah, but yeah, that's Diablo 3. I think we've probably beaten that horse to its death,
Yes.
really. Now, I'm guessing you guys didn't see this, because you guys don't seem as keen on Mass Effect as I am.
Not even remotely.
Yeah,
They're going to have to sell this one to me to even get me to look sideways at it now.
Well, I mean, they're certainly going, right, we're doing it totally different. So they released a trailer, I think today or a couple of days ago, so it would have been the 6th or the 7th of November. And it's a trailer called, I think, Initiative. And basically it's just describing, really, it's a character talking to you on the moon, and describing how, you know, what's going to happen to you. And the idea is that for some unknown reason that you don't know, you and a lot of the other alien races are going to be put into cryosleep for the next 600 years and travel to the nearest galaxy, which is the Andromeda galaxy.
Right.
You're going to go explore that and colonize it. I mean, we don't really know exactly what time it is when she tells you that, so we can't completely put it in a place in history in Mass Effect, but I'm assuming
Well,
it's...
I've got a spoiler for that, actually. And the reason why everyone's being put to sleep and travelling to another galaxy.
Please
Because
do
they ruined the
tell.
ending of Mass Effect 3.
Well, it's because they've all decided they can no longer live in a galaxy where the Kardashians get season after season and Firefly and Limitless get canned after one season. That's it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. And the ending of Lost. I mean, seriously. Seriously.
That was when they started the construction of the ship.
Yeah. It's going on now, but just don't get in the way, okay? Seriously. Just
Oh, God.
gonna take some time.
I'm sure that there'll be listeners out there listening to this that are big fans of BioWare.
Same. Right here.
Yeah.
BioWare, guys. Seriously. Woo!
But, you know, I mean, they have lost their way a bit. Like, we can all agree that.
Have they?
Well, they're certainly
Have they
making more money than
really?
they ever made.
I don't know if
certain things...
I wouldn't. They're making the money, yes. Have they lost their way? No. I wouldn't go so far as to say that, because at the end of the day, they have made
Very
several
successful.
engines, all of which have ultimately been successful in their utilization.
Well,
They
not
have
using
still
their-
got. They're still playing them. You know, they're still playing games like Star Wars: Old Republic as a
Which is
Mamorpaga.
rumored to have a remake.
And there's still new stuff coming out for it, so EA is still giving a toss about, and BioWare still can say, yep, that one's ours too. So I'm very much looking forward to what BioWare comes out with next, because wherever they're, you know, I can't, which of the BioWare studios, out of curiosity, is actually doing this one? Reason why I will turn and pay is it actually BioWare that's doing Mass Effect Andromeda?
Yeah, of course.
Which studio?
Oh,
Is it
God,
one of the
I have
two
no idea.
EA ones or the one in Canada?
Probably the one in Canada. I don't know. Why? Is
I
there a
want
lot
to
more
know.
skills?
If it's the one in Canada, okay, you've piqued my interest. I want to see what they're going to come out with. Because right there is where some of the key players ended up from the original Mass Effect games.
I think it's their baby, isn't it? Mass Effect. So
Yeah.
Come on, yep. At the
they
end of the
put
day,
more into it than
Microprose
Dragon
were the
Age.
ones that originally published Mass Effect. And as far as I'm concerned, Mass Effect 1 still stands as an absolutely outstanding game. It was
I'd
a
say it's the worst
fantastic,
out of the three.
which is hilarious. Because as far as it goes, that was the most important baseline that you'd have for the engine. The whole engine.
Yeah.
Think about it. BioWare had never done anything even remotely like that before.
They had.
Like?
KOTOR was exactly
Yeah.
the same
Was
game,
it?
but not as pretty.
Was
Jade
it?
Empire.
As an over-the-shoulder
Jade Empire.
shooter, as a third-person shooter?
Oh, I
No.
see what you mean.
Yes.
So-
You include an entirely different movement dynamic. You're not moving with a mouse. This isn't a
Yeah, but the
point-and-click
controls in that
adventure.
in Mass Effect is so awful.
It's a
compared to
completely
Mass Effect
different
2.
user interface.
Yeah.
You are dealing with an entirely different mechanic built from the ground up. So no, yes, okay. The one thing it has in common is its social interactions. Uses the
Although
same.
they haven't got past the social wheel for about 10 years, have they?
No.
They've just built on it every once in a while. But let's be honest, you know they've got
I mean,
a lot.
I do like it. I don't want to shit on BioWare because actually they're one of the few companies where I will go out and I'll buy, like the newest Dragon Age I played through, Mass Effect 3 I played most of.
Yeah.
Like I actually still like.
A
Even if
lot of
people have
fan
got issues with
loyalty
those
still
games,
out
like,
there.
even if people have issues with their more recent titles, when it comes down to it, there's no other company that makes games that are actually in that class and that good story-wise. Whether you like some of the gameplay mechanics or you have issues.
Okay, I'll go back to
The
Star
way they got
Wars
about
KOTOR any the day of the week.
Well, I mean, they're meant to be remastering that. They're meant to be remastering.
I don't need to, but I'll
do.
definitely look at it.
No, they do because
Because what would they
because they
do
could
to
still
remaster it? Make it look prettier?
No, there's a whole
No.
generation of gamers that haven't had the opportunity to play it.
Plus, on top of that, it was a beautiful expression of its time. Look at it. It was a perfect example of the TSR had just taken over. Okay, here comes some geek time, folks. TSR had taken over. They'd bought Dungeons and Dragons, and they'd released the D20 system, an open source role-playing game license. Any company could purchase up the D20 license and do it. And yes, Star Wars threw in there. After the death of West End Games, oh, praise West End Games. That's all you're getting, by the way. West End Games was gone, so why not? LucasArts did exactly what it did with Lucas Books and published its own D20 system of Star Wars. Star Wars KOTOR uses the D20 system quite avidly throughout the entire game mechanic. It is an absolute conversion, feats and all. It's absolutely bang on. That is an insanely clever piece of work to do. Now you look at Mass Effect, it's nothing like it. There you go. Sorry.
My
Case
question
mate.
though, with this new Mass Effect Andromeda, because I don't think me, Ferg, and Bed have followed it as closely as you, Steph. What's the hook? What's the big hook that's drawing people to this game?
Shepard's love child.
No.
Please say it's not Shepard's love child.
No, I
Spoilers.
Any
really
of
don't
them.
think it is. I think they've gone. I think they want to do kind of a soft reboot of the franchise, essentially.
Oh
But
no!
no, because I mean they're essentially like Mass Effect 3 still happened and all of that, but they're going right. We're doing a new story.
All right,
new
it's just
characters, in a
basically
new
that
system.
happened. We're now moving on. We've moved on. That happened.
Well, yeah, and it's totally moved on because the ending of Mass Effect 3 is not going to be relevant to this story. You don't actually need to know what happened at the end of Mass Effect 3, which is good because there were 3 different endings. So
Okay, what do you think? Okay, in that case, I'm going to throw this one on you just so we can move on a little bit. If Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be so very, very heavy on the story, because there's going to be a lot of introduction and possibly a fair snuff of exposition thrown in there for good measure, character introductions and all the rest of it, it's a big first step. Are they going to bother with multiplayer?
Oh, God.
Since the engine is technically already there, are they going to do it? And is EA going to milk for that bloody microtransaction bullshit again? I think yes.
Probably. I mean, I do have certain reservations about Mass Effect Andromeda. I think I'll definitely enjoy it either way, but my biggest concern is that they're going to take a leaf out of Dragon Age Inquisition. And what I disliked about that game, although I liked it a lot, was that, well, they had multiplayer in that, which I don't even want to go into because it's an absolute
Oh, that was a
bloody joke.
travesty.
It was. Look, let's not go there because I could do a whole bloody episode
Yeah,
on that.
we'll leave that for another discussion.
But I'm not bothered about multiplayer, to be perfectly honest, in BioWare games anyway. But in terms of the story, they
Own it.
like, it was a good game and the story was good in Dragon Age and there's quite a lot of story. But what I hated about the game was, and what always stopped me from ever finishing it was, I mean, it was really detailed story, really really good. But then you had these really big maps, which sounds great. Oh, there's lots to do, lots to explore, And this whole new game is about exploration, right? You're an explorer. That's who you are. You're not like Shepherd. You're an explorer first and foremost. What concerns me is Dragon Age Inquisition was very much about exploring, and it felt like playing an MMO where you go from area to area to area in a zone.
Yeah.
And you're ticking off fetch quests, and you're going to points of interest, and all these kind of things. And it's like, why are we doing this in an RPG? Like
the MMO without the MM.
Yeah, and MMOs, like, everyone hates that aspect of
God,
MMOs.
that would be the very definition of the worst game. That would be hell. That would be gaming hell for me.
Well, who plays an MMO to do the questing, unless you're playing something like Star Wars: The Old Republic, where at least the class stories were good.
Yeah.
But again, it still has loads of fetch quests and loads of these like filler stuff that I just think, why do you bother? Like, take a leaf out of the Witcher 3's book. And I didn't even complete the Witcher 3. I don't have the time for that game. I think it's very good and the story's very good, but it didn't pique
was
my
it just
interest.
too big?
But well, no, I didn't have enough time. The story itself, I'm not that into the character. I don't relate to him.
The story's about 230 hours long.
But it's a really good game. Like, I'm not saying The Witcher 3 is bad, and that's what I'm saying, that BioWare should take a leaf out of their book, because their side missions are really well detailed. Like, I mean, I'm not.
Mind you, I say that, but you know what? I've just realised I've sunk in it's I think now in excess of 250 hours into Fallout 4. So you know what? Fine, okay, I'm game with that kind of hours, and yeah, and that's when I'm just making my own quest up. As long as it's not too grindy, I'll be fine. All right, okay.
Well, The Witcher 3 does it really well. You know, that's the thing. Right, so we'll move on from that then.
Yes.
You go, Ferg. Go.
Games we're looking forward to. Actually, no, you go. It's Final Fantasy. Actually, no. Let's start in chronologically. We've got the 11th of November. For us, is only a couple of days away, but we have Dishonored 2 coming out, and oh my God, I'm looking forward to that. I can't afford it on release, but by God, I am so looking forward to it. I actually really enjoyed the first one. It's not a guilty pleasure. I actually enjoyed it. I know it felt short in some cases. It felt too easy. But I still really enjoyed it.
The journey was good.
Yeah, it really was. And I got the sneaking suspicion that this next journey will be another real jaunt into a very dark and very bleak place.
So what's the setup for Dishonored 2?
I'm not rightly sure. All I've seen is a selection of trailers, but I keep on seeing Emily turning up.
Yeah, are you going to be able to play Corvo or Emily, or?
I'm wondering if you can play both.
They're on the box. They're both on the box for the collector's edition.
I think we should explain as well to the audience what Dishonored 2 is.
Yeah.
Because it's all well and good to talk about Dishonored 1, but I only played
Dishonored,
briefly.
Dishonored 2 is the sequel to Dishonored, a first-person stealth 'em up. You play, or at least in the first one, you played Corvo, the protector of the Empress, and also, lover and father to a child. The child is kidnapped, and your beautiful Empress is killed before your very eyes, and you are framed for it. Cut a long story short, you are dishonored. Bom, bom, bom.
And the game mechanics are, from what I remember, it's kind of first-person There's a lot of stealth
Very
involved.
like Thief. If you like
Thief,
games
yeah.
like Thief, you're in for a treat. Dishonored 2 is essentially Corvo basically goes about his business avenging his wife and trying to find his daughter with the aids of some very dark and powerful creatures of the night, one of which allows him to control shadows and rats, elements of horror, to elude and completely destroy his enemy. And on top of that, he's rather a dab hand with pretty much anything he can get his mitts onto and turn into a weapon. And the idea of Emily returning in Dishonored 2 and turning out to be basically the female equivalent of some kind of ghastly wraith of vengeance, just wow, I'm looking forward to that. The story is going to be wicked. So, yes. Then on the 15th of November, Watch Dogs 2, folks.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Good.
I'm thinking it's going to be a definite improvement on the first one.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed the first one, but
I enjoyed the first one, but I really like the idea of the multiplayer on Watch Dogs 2.
Beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep. 3 minutes remaining, chaps.
Right, next then.
Right.
December 2nd.
Steep, we've talked about Steep a fair bit. It looks a lot of fun. Skiing, snowboarding, and kind of, what do they call it?
Wingsuits.
Gliding?
Yeah, wingsuits.
Wingsuits.
Wingsuit.
I'd like a go at that.
Cool. And it's a Christmas, like December the 2nd. It's like, this is a nice game to get over Christmas, and
Yeah.
you know, get a bit bored of the family, go play it.
Yeah.
People go, oh, what's that? That's amazing.
I imagine the online for that is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we've got Last Guardian on the 6th of December. No idea what that is.
Oh,
Well, you should. From the makers of Shadow of the Colossus and
Ooh.
they've
it's
finally released. They're going to release a game that's been in development for like 10 years.
Holy
Yeah.
shit! Okay, wow! Oh my god! Right, okay. No more. I'm going to go and look into that later.
that would probably be yeah.
Sorry, I had not heard of this. I apologise profusely.
I mean, we'll go into a bit more detail about that in another episode because I think that one's worth a bit of a look.
I think we need to look at that
at a later time.
Yeah, I think that's going to earn its own discussion in its own right.
We've got Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah. I was gonna say
Sorry, don't care.
Exactly.
It's doing its second top-selling game this year after FIFA 17, so it's beating Battlefield.
It's
sure.
ticking the
Yeah.
boxes.
Although it's a drop of 48% compared to Black Ops 3 in its second week, so it's not doing as well.
Oh no!
Not as
again,
big, but still, all the fans
I mean,
have bought
it
it.
is what it is. I mean, some people love it, and if they love it, that's great.
If you're a Call of Duty fan, then you've probably
Already
already
know.
You
bought it.
realise it's the same game.
Yeah, I'm.
You already know
Yeah.
more than us. We're
Go on,
good.
stroke your psychotic tendencies. That's fine. We understand.
Final Fantasy 15 on
Yeah,
the 29th.
so I mean, I can't wait for this. I don't know what else to say about it. At this point, I mean, I'd reckon if you're looking forward to it, the 6th anime episode is out on the Final Fantasy channel on YouTube. I would watch all
good.
of those and watch the film as well.
I enjoyed
the
the
film's
film.
pretty good. It's not the best
Yeah.
film ever, but in terms of setting up the plot and the mythology, it's cool.
It's a good
Yeah,
setup,
I really
though.
liked it. It gave me a lot of hope for a Final Fantasy game. So, there's also, if you want to check out anything on it, just have a look on the internet because this game has probably got the most released gameplay and trailers of any game that's ever been in development. Like, I'm not even joking. There's probably like 2 days worth of different footage of this game in all sorts of detail. Like,
Yeah.
if you want to check it out. But again,
3,
it's
2,
wait and see.
1, bang! That's it, folks. That's 30 minutes. We're on the 5th. Right.
time.
Okay.
Moving on.
Clearing the clock
That's all right.
to 15 minutes. Okay, folks. Right, now we've got a bit of a question. This is something we were kind of going to go kind of introducing. We're playing with the format, like Steph said, but we were now going to suggest going into two 15-minute discussions. We're going to name a topic, and then we were basically going to have a rant. However, what we won't normally tell you is that, unfortunately, we missed a ton of stuff that we were going to talk about. So the first option is discussions. One of the things we were going to talk about was going to be Skyrim Remastered, opinions, and what this actually is with regards to everything. The other one was games that we were going to play this week. But is there anything in those subjects that you'd like to throw in there? Because I've got a little bit about VR simulation games that are coming out at the moment. VR's really just had a sort of a bump in direction. If anybody wants to talk about VR again. Do we want to talk about VR again? Or do you want to skip that puppy?
We talked a lot about VR last week.
Did? Yeah. Okay, cool.
We'll leave that for now.
Yes, Skyrim Remastered. It was something that we were going to review anyway. I think we can skip World of Final Fantasy for the time being. We've kind of covered enough of. We haven't really managed to sink any time into that, have you?
No, I mean with World of Final Fantasy, I've got it. I got that and Skyrim Remastered, and unfortunately, I've not had loads of time, and I've ended up just getting like, oh, I'll try Skyrim Remastered, and that's just dragged me in.
Yes, totally.
So I mean, and I've played it before. It's not like it's anything new. It's like the graphics aren't even that. I mean, they're much better, but they're not really that much better.
Right, okay, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to stop you there. I'm going to start the 15-minute timer. First discussion, Skyrim.
Hello.
All right, 15 minutes, starting.
So, who's got Skyrim Remastered and on what platform?
Me on PC.
Me on...
No.
Me on PS4?
I have access to it, but I've not started.
All right, okay. So, what do you guys know about this version of Skyrim? I mean, what's so important about Skyrim Remastered, do you think? Okay, a smaller feature than you might think on this version, if you want my opinion.
The modding community.
But there isn't one yet.
Oh,
it's only just
I mean, a lot of people have been pre-preparing on PC and redesigning a lot of programs to work with 64-bit.
Do you think the modding community is going to go back to Skyrim? I mean, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think the new additions to the Skyrim core files is... I don't know. I actually really quite like it. And yes, I do think the modding community is going to go back to have another bash at Skyrim. I actually think we could see some really, really impressive pieces. And this is a really... I've got nothing but love for Bethesda right now. I really do. I think this is a magnificent step forward for not only Skyrim, but generally the engine itself.
There's also a new generation of modders coming through as well that have never played Skyrim.
Yeah. This will be their learning tool. This is where they start. I think a lot of people are forgetting that the learning process is constant. There are going to be people that aren't going to be starting with your antiquated and technically obsolete stuff and starting in at 64-bit. They're not going to be worried about having 1 to 2 dragons on the sky. They're going to be worried about having, I don't know, fields of orcs screaming at you all at the same time. I mean, think of the battles you can have between a 32-bit version of Skyrim and a 64-bit version of Skyrim. Think of the battles. Think of the wars.
So if you've been playing it, have you noticed big differences?
Define big differences. Visually?
Well, like you said, say rather than just fighting the one dragon,
no,
you're fighting now a sky.
Exactly
no, but that's what's possible. It is exactly, it is exactly the same game in its playability. I don't think there's actually any extra new content as such.
Wouldn't actually recommend
This is where it gets complicated with Skyrim.
recommend it to someone who's like played it recently, like the
Or
original
anybody
version.
that's on a console. Certainly not a PlayStation 4.
Well, I don't agree with that.
Really?
Yeah, because I think that quite a large like mods as a concept on a console incredibly new. I don't think many people are buying Skyrim remastered on a PS4 or Xbox to play mods. I think a small number of people are. The
Well, the
modding
people on the
community.
PlayStation 4 definitely aren't.
Well, yeah, but I don't. I mean, if I look at my Facebook, loads of people have been talking about Skyrim, and no one's really bothered about the modding on consoles because they're not bothered. They just want a pretty Skyrim, and that's like also
They're having
like
to buy a whole new disc for it. It's not like it's a free download. It's a
no,
whole.
of course,
It's a
but
full
again, like
price
people,
game.
so some
If
people
they've
might,
already got it, what's the point?
well, some
Yeah,
people
it's
might not have
pretty.
played it, and some people like having it on their shelf, don't they? The new shiny version.
Yeah, right.
But
Well,
Yeah.
they do. I mean, I've got Skyrim.
If
got
they're
that
big
got
enough
the
empty
original
fans.
in the
Skyrim.
pocket.
No, I don't agree. I mean, I've got the original Skyrim on PC, and I've had some issues with my PC in terms of running it. So I've gone and got it on PlayStation 4, the remastered version, even though I can play remastered on my PC, because it crashes on me. But also like it's a different way of playing, isn't it? If you're sat at a computer table desk playing a computer game with a mouse and keyboard, and I know you can get controller support for Skyrim on the PC, but still, like, not everyone has got their computer in their bedroom, have they? Some of them have got it at a desk, at a table. It's a very different experience to sitting on the couch, you know.
Because I don't know, that's
Yeah.
exactly what I do when I'm gaming.
Oh, it's very different. It's like a different way of playing if you just sat on the couch with a controller. Like,
I'm sat on the couch with a keyboard and mouse.
well, you might be, but not a lot of people have got like wireless keyboards and things that they got sat on their lap or
Oh, I
whatever.
just trail wires everywhere and trip people over. You're forgetting I'm a twat.
No, but yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, most people buy consoles for the
Yeah,
That's the technical
like
term, kids.
I don't know, it's easier in a lot of ways. Like, it just runs games instead of needing more money to kind of upgrade it, and
Maintenance.
maintenance, yeah. And it's just
I've got
easier
to
to
admit,
play, like.
I think that this version of Skyrim, I mean, for the PC players, it's a pure win because it was entirely free for us. I can't complain. As far as I'm concerned, this is just DLC come plus. This is lovely jubbly. Just seeing the whole thing turn up on my system was like, yes. With all the DLC, get in, laughing buckets of snot, and yes, I'm going to be going back to Skyrim. The missus and I are just waiting for a spare month for that to be able to be open. But just going through the intro sequence, creating the characters, looking at how the characters look, just wandering around with, having a Skyrim with volumetric fog kind of helps, like the very distinct lighting sequences. If you're looking for an actual description, it's not a hard and fast color shift. You're looking at very, very subtle textures rolling over one another. It's so small that you might not even realize it's bloody happening.
Well, a lot of
It
people have
looks
said,
gorgeous, though.
a lot of people said it's how you remember Skyrim to be. So it I think a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it looks the same" when they play it because
Yeah,
it's how they remember it
Yeah.
looking when they first loaded it up.
They've coloured
Yeah.
in the
yeah,
dots
they're
in their
colouring in the other
mind.
dots. They're hoping that, they're working it out. But to be perfectly honest, that's exactly the point. And if you look, I mean, there's plenty of comparison photos on the internet if you really want to go and look. And if you see it and it looks kind of dull, I just want to remind you, you're looking at a very small picture of something that probably isn't the correct resolution to begin with, and that you're not really getting the full whammy that is Alduin turning up in full gorgeous, 60 frames per second, re-rendering. It's gorgeous. It really is. I actually kind of missed it. I'm not missing the first walk up to that bloody mountain full of druids to learn how to talk to dragons, but fucking grind.
I mean, I think the thing is with the modding as well is like it's definitely much worse on the PlayStation 4. But I think they both have these gigabyte limit caps, and I think the really interesting mods for Skyrim, like I think it's called Endriel. There are full-on game conversions of Skyrim that you won't be getting on either console. I mean, if you want the true benefit of it being in 64-bit, and you really want to explore mods in detail that give you massive new content, and I'm talking things like total conversions, the PC is still like the place to go for that.
PC is always going to win
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
That's the way it is.
Xbox is a bit better. Like, I'm sure you'll be able to get like some extra quests and things like that, and some like.
I'd be interested to see where Microsoft's going to go with this, because obviously they're now going to, in order, unless they actually want to say, all right then, you could, in that case, everybody on anybody on an Xbox has full access to all of the internet stuff. You know, all of the mods for things like Skyrim. And believe me, the number of mods available for Skyrim version is
loads.
insane. And I remember the Elder Scrolls modding community, and that was extensive with some unbelievably talented people throwing out incredibly large projects. You know, insane projects where they were crafting land off the shore of Morrowind. You know, full islands before the expansions came out. Tribunal and Blood Moon.
That's it.
Yeah, before those came out, they were actually crafting islands into into the world map, and
But
then
again, I mean,
building into and around.
I mean, they're really cool mods. They are going to be on PC. I mean, for example, they've been remaking Morrowind in the Skyrim engine, and it's all of Morrowind, the whole game.
All
They
of Morrowind.
did it in Oblivion as well.
Wow.
Do they call it Morroblivion or something? But you can actually download like Morrowind in the Oblivion engine already, and now they're doing it for Skyrim. I think it's called Skywind. So you can check that out. But again, like,
Oh, I might have to.
yeah, but like, it hasn't come out for Skyrim yet. I don't think. They haven't got it all sorted, but there's a lot of videos online, and they are building it. So I mean, again, like, I think it's great that we've got mods on both consoles, and it's a lot worse on PS4. But again, I don't think either's particularly great in terms of they're not. I don't think either's really going to support the full, like,
A full modding
depth
community.
of, yeah, and the real.
It's a crying shame because while I've got this opportunity, I mean, Skyrim is the reason why I'm not currently playing Skyrim is because I'm playing Fallout 4, and the modding community on there's like, wow. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm having to start again from scratch at the moment, so I can include all the DLC, Nuka World, all the rest of it, and only then, once I've done all of that, am I even going to consider using mods, because I want to get to the end of the game, kind of thing. But I know that by the time I'm there, I'm going to be opened to a world of beauty, and I know a guy who can put me onto a couple of very interesting mods. I know a guy. I know a guy with some mods. Oh my god, we're now entering into Cyberpunk 2020 territory, I think.
Can I put a little extra thing in here that's slightly unrelated, but just a very
Why
quick
not?
addition about Mass
Right,
Effect?
okay, you've got 2 minutes 20. Go on, shoot.
Okay, right. So I'd actually just come across some news just now while we were talking, just clicking buttons while we were talking, and something appeared on my screen from Eurogamer.net. Apparently, Mass Effect Andromeda starts off. They leave the Milky Way in 2185, which is the year that Mass Effect 2's events conclude, and it's the same time that Lair of the Shadow Broken DLC happens. So,
All right.
It's before Mass Effect 3. This happens.
They're already
So
basically
they're already
booking
en
it.
route.
Yeah.
Guys,
It's
we're
before the
leaving
Wheatley's
in
even
case.
arrive in the Milky Way. So.
The heard Kardashians just got renewed again.
They're like,
All
fuck
right.
this, we're out of here, man.
Okay, that one's a
Right,
sus.
what's up?
Okay, that's brilliant. In that case, if I just reset the clock. Right, so we have a second discussion. Now, we can either revisit any of the other stuff that we never got round to doing, or there is the second discussion, which was games we've been playing this week, which I kind of already hinted at Fallout 4.
I played a lot of Skyrim, played a bit of League. I don't know, I'm not that interested in what I've been up to.
I've been playing a bit of Minecraft.
You've gone back to Minecraft.
Yep.
So what have you been doing in Minecraft? Are you playing on your own or with a group?
Playing on a server, but off on my own. Just basically getting set up again. Because it's been a complete server reset, so.
So
Actually, in that
I'm
case,
gonna be
I've got a query here,
Yeah.
guys. All four of us, because we've all had to do our own things. I mean, Rammy, you said you had been playing. You'd gone back to XCOM 2 because it was the most convenient one for you.
well, not gone back to. Because I came to the party late.
Are we recording
because I
this
was
one,
waiting
by the
for it
way?
to come out on Expo.
Yeah. What?
Are we recording this conversation here?
Yes.
Oh, right.
Are you
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, no, I'm fine, I was just wondering.
All right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yes. So
Cool.
my query was this. So we I'm assuming Steph's said he's gone back to Skyrim. He's probably been hitting the League of Legends as well, but we won't talk of that, will we? Dad, what have you gone back to?
Minecraft.
And just Minecraft.
Yes.
We've all just gone back to other. Why haven't we been really kind of looking at? Has nothing recently really grabbed us past these titles? Have we really gone back to these titles because they're better than everything else out there at the moment?
Oh yeah.
It's mainly been a time constraint thing, I think.
For me, yes. Because I've waited
Yes.
for XCOM 2 for ages.
How far through are you? XCOM 2, man. I love Firaxis.
Not very. I'm not as far through as I'd like, because this weekend just gone I ran a live role playing event, which Spindle's actually
Get
it
in!
was Monster F for us. So that was a really good laugh. But that pretty much
You
has
had
Yes.
a lot
all
of
my
pages,
free
didn't you,
time
of
for
written
that
up
Actually,
Like-
couple of weeks.
plans and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, I actually got to see your ref notes. That was actually kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
I was like looking at it, I was like 30 pages of holy shit. What is it? No, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a bit
there
there.
was a fair bit
Um,
I
there.
suppose we should also mention. I mean, I think this might be a bit of a side project.
But
like
belatedly, it's also been Rami's birthday. He's now
Yes.
officially old.
Well,
You-
like I wasn't before.
no, now you're Methuselah.
Oh,
I
right,
mean,
okay.
we did.
Yeah,
finish the
you're
game.
one
Just 'cause I'm
month
one
older.
month.
That
One
makes you
month,
old.
I mean, we did all. We three of us met up. Dad wasn't able to make it, unfortunately, because it's quite a long distance. But me, Ferg, and Rammy, and a chap called Ben, who you may have heard on one of the Wonky Gamer videos at some random point.
When we played Worms.
Yeah, and I played League of Legends with Ben, and you can hear us getting upset in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we.
That's
we
the
all met
sound
up
of
and-
men crying in their hour of defeat.
But we all played some board games for quite a long time, like a day and a night, basically.
Yes.
Which
Yeah.
was really fun.
We covered things
Board
like Star
gaming.
Wars X-Wing, which I can actually now totally see why that would be the board game equivalent of an e-sport.
yeah,
It has the same watchable power as something like Magic the Gathering. but it's maybe a little bit more entertaining for the eyes if you don't want to have to squint at all the little cards on the screen. I don't know Magic the Gathering that well. I'm putting that out there now. Oh,
I do, but I have a lot
I
of
do.
issues with games like that where you can pay to win, basically.
This is the part where we actually confess. When we say Wonky Gamer, we're trying to be specifically towards computer games, but we love all the games.
Well, I think,
We are not-
I think
Yeah, we're
what we
massive
might
game
have a
heads.
look at is actually having maybe we'll have to figure it out, but maybe having like for anyone that wants to do it, maybe a monthly or 2 monthly like separate podcast on board games, because I think Ben would be really up for that, and he's very knowledgeable, and people would probably be up for that. But we could have that as a little separate thing, because it would be good to do, but then I think it would be good to do as a separate thing where we can really get into that as a separate issue.
So hey, listen, please,
Well,
listeners, send us in your suggestions on that, because what would you like to hear us do? I mean, we love doing the games, don't get us wrong. The games are fun, we get to really talk shite, and games. But would you like to hear more? See what I did there?
Well, and also we've got a lot of different content coming up. Like we are in the works of something. Well, Ferg is in charge of this, so I don't know whether you want to mention it or not.
What did I do?
Tomorrow. What am I?
What
like,
you're
do
doing?
you want to mention what we're doing tomorrow? Or not?
Oh!
We're taking steps.
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, actually, in that case, yes. With regards to this one, it's I'm running Vampire the Masquerade 2nd edition for 5 players, Steph and Rammy included. Sorry, Dad, man, we love you, but it's not good days, is it? That's what it feels like playing Nintendo now.
Nintendo's great. What?
I just threw that one in there.
Where did Nintendo
and
come
it
from?
Worked. Get in. Right. We've got 5 players, Steph and Rammy included, where they have been. Right, I suppose I'll sell the campaign to you. All of the players will start as humans with absolutely no knowledge of the world of darkness, as per nauseam. They have all basically been allowed to make whatever human they like, with pretty much any background, as long as they are in the middle of the city at a small diner at the corner of Fuller Street and Galloway at 8 p.m. From that point on, the game fully starts. And I've spent the last God knows how long finally getting the fucking characters created, because I actually got round, thankfully I've managed to get round to doing a little very small prologue and walk through character creation with each player so they could get the fullest out of it. This has been a really fulfilling exercise for all of us. It's been fantastic, and we've got some very interesting characters to look forward to. We have a serial killer, we have a cat burglar, we have a con artist of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've and we.
So we're all bearing degrees
happy-go-lucky air hostess.
Right?
You. And a happy-go-lucky air hostess.
Nice.
Oh, sorry, and an antiquities dealer.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen to Steph. Yeah. Listen to Steph there. Oh yeah, the antiquities dealer. Yeah. Oh yeah. What a bit of his. Thieving Jippo bastard. You wish you were as good as the cat burglar, though. Seriously, your wallets are going missing constantly.
Well, mine.
Oh God, yes.
Rubbish.
If you've got a wallet, it's going for a walk. Oh yeah.
Just cut it back out of the cat burglar.
I bet they wish they were as good as me. Though.
So yes, Vampire the Masquerade 2nd edition. We're going to be playing a selection of sessions of that over the internet. With any luck, we're going to be able to record them, which would be superb.
And it is
that
going to
would
be a work in progress, isn't it? I mean, I think if we're
Yeah.
going to have a recording of the first episode,
Yeah.
it's probably just going to be. Is it just going to be audio Ferg? Do you reckon?
I suspect it may just be audio,
Yeah.
but that's going to be.
Yeah.
We'll see how that work out, but we'll
We'll see
probably
how things
work with
work
audio
out.
first, because that makes it lighter, and we can work out any other problems. If it turns out that we can go straight to video, that would be grand. But I just want to
Probably
make
spend
sure.
a lot of time saying, I reckon what will probably end up happening is, I'm guessing
Someone's
we'll probably end up
speaker will
moving the
go.
video, but not.
Yeah. Same thing that happens with any record, like any group session. Someone, what? What did you say? Your mic's cut out. I can't see you. Turn your camera on. Oh, for fuck's sakes, they can't hear me now, can they? That's what's going to happen. So we're aiming to start at something like 7:30, 8 o'clock. But as any good GM knows, there's a very distinct chance that won't fucking happen. So get ready to hit the ground running the moment you can grab all of their attention all at the same time. So, Steph, if you even think about looking sideways at League of Legends and lowering your IQ to an Olympically low level, don't. I will
get
eat
a
your
-2
character.
to intelligence. These 2 dots of intelligence.
If you had any
Instantly.
less intelligence, it wouldn't be Kakoma anymore. It would be good old-fashioned dead. There is no such thing as unintelligence.
But no, it's
And if there was, that'd be bad.
I don't know. I rock that
What,
pretty well.
unintelligence? Actually, yeah, your character kind of does, doesn't he? Yeah. It's not his fault.
But yeah, I mean that's quite a bit of a side thing that we're doing, really. I mean, I know that's not necessarily gaming news. I mean, it is kind of gaming news, actually.
It may be something else to check out.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
It may
game
be a
we're
chance to
playing.
look in on a game and actually remember how good it actually felt to play a game. Let's be honest.
Well, and also, I'd recommend having a listen, because I think, I mean, I'm completely new to this type of game, but I've been quite interested in it, and I think a lot of people are what's the word? Quite shy about the concept of, or intimidated by these kind of games, so it might be worth.
Yeah, you don't want to become one of these dark geeks. Come on.
Exactly, yeah.
If they, the dark sorceries of the geekdom empire. Oh shit. Yeah, because what we're going to be practicing, folks, that is some serious Plato bullshit right there. We're going to summon up the soul of something. Oh god. Yeah.
It's basically going to be like a BioWare game with a hell of a lot more creativity and random.
Yeah. If you've never played a role-playing game, check it out. Get some mates. Pick up a book. Learn to read. Try again with a book. Yeah, in that order.
In that order.
Learn to read, then try again with a book. Yeah, got some words, got some numbers. Yeah,
cool.
It's good for you. Good for you.
And I think I suppose that sums up that chat, really. I mean,
that really does.
It's a bit of a random sort of.
We sort of digressed there, but you know what? It's probably overdue.
Yeah.
So, we've still got 2 minutes left on the clock, folks. Do you want to bring up any last, or do you want to go for the wrap up?
Final Fantasy 15 is gonna be amazing.
Your mum was amazing.
I'm excited for Final Fantasy 15 as well.
Oh, it's coming out on Xbox, isn't it?
I couldn't care less.
You just got burnt because of every bloody PS1. How can you still be angry about that, man?
Yeah.
It's been like 15 years ago.
Come on, man. That was...
Because it was one of the first games that I went for completionist on.
Do you want to explain what happened?
Screwed me.
Because I have found this story quite interesting, actually. It'd be quite funny to hear it repeat.
The fact that I played through the game for an obscene amount of time and got everything, and leveled everything up, and found every little secret hidden part of the game, and saved at the last save point on 2 separate memory cards. only to have both copies corrupt when I come
This is
back
why
to play
you
it.
hate Sony.
No, you should have just played through, man. Should have just played through.
Were they official Sony
No.
memory cards? Oh, damn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
Hey,
hoping they
Sony.
weren't, and that could be like, dude, your hatred of
Mind
Sony
you,
is like
how
really
long
common.
have you been holding on to those memory cards out of curiosity?
I have
No, but
absolutely no
how
idea where they
old
are.
were they, those memory cards?
Well, when I played it, the game had only just come out and they were practically
So-
brand new.
What you're telling me is that you're expecting a memory card like that to retain the information for
No, I think they crashed after he'd done everything, and he
Yes.
tried to load them up again.
just they corrupted up on loading or something?
Your
Saying
save
he-
file has corrupted.
Forget to eject the external drive.
It was a pretty basic system direction back then, wasn't
You
it?
just
I'm
grabbed it
kidding.
and pulled it.
that was a technical joke. Some
I
people
know.
got it.
I know, I was a bit kinky,
And being mean.
but
Yes, that's
yes.
why I hate Final
Yeah.
Fantasy and Sony.
But that wouldn't necessarily be Sony if the save itself corrupted. Wouldn't that be Square Enix? Because it's a data issue, it's not a hardware issue.
Are you still sore over this? I mean, seriously.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to be.
Are you really going back to play that ever again?
I have zero interest in Final Fantasy. At the time, it was a really good game, but I have no interest. I tried to play, I think it was 8, and it was,
amazing.
or
It's
was
my
it 10?
favourite Final Fantasy.
But I just wasn't interested at all.
If I play a Final Fantasy game,
Didn't grip me.
I only play it the once. As soon as I finish the story, that's it. I'm done. That's why I'm not buying another one, because it's just not worth it.
I suppose
I
it
don't
depends when
need
you
to
played
get
them,
everything.
though, as well. Like for me, one of the when I must have played Final Fantasy VII when I was about 11 or 12 years old, and that game back then for me was like that and Zelda were massive games. Like I spent a long time playing and completing them, and they have like, a really big place in my heart. I mean, if you look at but did you see the reaction videos when Final Fantasy VII was like remastered was announced? People were literally crying. Like I didn't personally cry, but I felt a tear in my heart. But no, like people were really like so
Broken up about
elated.
it.
Yeah, because they have this emotional connection of when they were a little kid 15 years ago when it had such an impact on them. It's like, yeah, it's a big deal to some people. I mean, for me, it's a big deal to get to see that remastered and play it again.
Yeah, sure, if you're a manga character.
If they fuck it up, imagine that's not gonna go down well with those people. So
They get a choice. They've already spent their hard-earned money on it. It's why I'm dubious with any remastered. That's why I'm absolutely glad Skyrim Remastered was absolutely free on PC. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
yeah,
As much as I hate to say it, the modding community wins out entirely with this one. It's a pure win. Love it across the board.
it'd be interesting
Try
to see the figures
topping
on
that one.
Skyrim, though. It'd be interesting to see how many it's sold, because I don't think the majority of people are buying remastered for
The
mods.
catch is, on PC, they're not buying
It's
it.
been selling quite well.
No, I know that. But in terms of consoles, because I'm sure it's been selling well.
I'd love to know that. Really?
I'm not surprised. Like it's Skyrim. Like a lot of people just.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's Skyrim.
I suppose it makes for a really nice Christmas present. If you know a person hasn't got it, it would be the perfect Christmas present.
But also, a lot of people wouldn't have played it for 5 years. And like there
And of
might.
course,
Yeah,
like you
there
pointed
is
out, there
that.
are some people that won't have played it at all yet, simply because, like you said, 5 years.
Well,
There is an entire new clique of children that have been abused from 13 and now 18. They're going like, I never got to play the original Skyrim. It had big ghouly bits and nasty stuff.
But also, I think you
Too
know, 'cause
busy
it's
with
been,
Pokemon.
because it's been 5 years. Like, I think some people will be like, "Oh, I had it on my PS3 5 years ago, or my Xbox 360, and that's sitting somewhere at my parents' house. And I'm now at uni with my PS4, and I would love to play that game again. I'll just buy it." Like, there will be a lot of people that are doing that.
Yeah, I don't get that nostalgia thing.
You are.
I don't get the nostalgia thing. Anyway, I
Yep.
think we're kind of good here.
Yes. I think that's probably the end of this podcast.
I think we've covered it all.
Yeah.
Yay!
But it would be good to get some feedback on what you guys, the community, think about the new format.
Yeah.
I mean,
The new format.
generally the two discussions will be specifically about games, but we thought we'd like diverge a bit because we probably invested a lot of time, the majority of our time actually in the last week or two, playing board games actually.
The most of the
So
gaming
that's
time was
why we
board
brought some
games.
of that.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
also
and what-
the vampire stuff, because I mean I've had a couple of late nights chatting to Ferg, or listening in on other people's character creation.
Yeah, I've given him
Oh,
full.
nice.
I've given him full because he wants to be a games master. I've given him full inclusion into the majority of the notes, and he'll see the rest of the notes once certain elements in the story have occurred, and then he gets
Once
to see
things have happened.
absolutely everything. No spoilers, because
spoilers.
otherwise that kind of kills it for him. But he gets the full notes for the entire first session, so he can see how I'm hooking the players, how the character creation has basically run its course, and it gives him an idea as to how he can actually introduce the most difficult element of games mastering into his own game, namely the players.
But I'm still working out whether I'd want to be a GM or more a player,
Yeah.
to be honest. I mean,
You see, there's the trap. Yeah, sometimes you'll know it. You'll feel the calling. You'll
Yeah.
feel the calling.
but I mean, it's an amazing, like, when you see it in action, if you do end up listening to it, I mean, I've already seen how it works, at least in the origin level, that Ferg's done with everyone, and how he's piecing everything together. And it's quite cool, really, and quite amazing how that functions. Ferg's doing a pretty interesting job of tying up lots of different characters and has a whole plan of where it all goes. Like, it's
Like I've got a
quite
plan. Like
yeah,
I've
but you know
got,
what I mean. You have,
like
you
I've
have,
worked, like
no,
I
but you
put a
have
whole.
mythology. You have like
It's
the
almost like he has a
context, you know?
plan.
Like you have something you're going off, and
I'll give you a hint. How long do you think it's taken me to come up with this story? Given how much you already know as players and as your characters, how long do you think I've already spent coming up with the city?
well, you've drawn a map, so that must have taken you at least 10 minutes.
A little bit longer than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think it's probably taken
I'd
you
give it
like
a good half an hour.
20 hours.
20 hours?
Actually, no, 'cause if I'm including all the time you spent with people on Origin stuff, maybe like.
Oh, if we're going to include the origin stuff, okay. Go on.
Well, I don't know, because the way that you're posing this question suggests that actually you haven't really spent that long.
How long do you think?
You're improvising on the fly.
In some cases, yes, that's what GMing is.
Because I think part of it as well is
Yeah,
you've
that's what
said
it's
that the
all
way that
about.
you do stories is you try and make it so everyone has fun, so you'll be getting a lot of ideas of where to go with it off the way people are reacting to what you're saying.
Yes,
created
but
their
notice
characters
that I
and
was
stuff.
ready for whatever your characters were. No matter what
Yes.
you came up with, I was ready for them.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of character they came up with, you are all ready to go as a
Yeah.
group. You will have something in common.
Okay.
You will all have something in common. You will all suddenly want to work
Right.
together. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as far as the Wonky Gamer, as far as Fergus the Wonky Gamer is concerned, is the trick to GMing. Getting the players to actually want to work together. If you can conquer that with any and every game that you ever play, that's it. You've got it sussed. Now all you got to do is make them think they're doing what they want to do. Okay? Yeah.
And on
Yeah.
that note, we should probably end.
Yeah. Definitely.
We should tie it
But,
up.
Otherwise, spoilers.
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy the shit out of you. Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, that'll be us at the Wonky Gamer for this episode, and yeah, let us know what you think.
Yeah, check out stuff.
Au revoir.
Take it easy. Be excellent to each other.
Good evening.
Good luck. Have fun.